Just want to start out and thank the coaches, the scouts for a great draft, the medical people, our video guys, everybody involved. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but it was a great process. We felt great about it. The communication and the collaboration between the coaching staff and the personnel group this year was awesome. It was really good. Really happy about that, and really happy about the crew.
Good group, really strong group for us. So it was exciting because this was such a full draft for us, and I think every phase of it was challenging, but we met it with some really good choices that are going to help our club. It was fun to have all the picks, especially after last year. So it was a good time, and I thought we did great. So we're excited about it. So what do you got?
We like all three guys from last year too.
Yeah, you like
all three of them.
But 9's more fun.
Yeah,
it's more fun.
Way more fun.
What do you like about the two corners?
They're totally different. It's rare to get a guy that was chosen as the best DB in the country. It doesn't happen very often. I don't know if it's the Heisman for the DBs or it's just the great Jim Thorpe award in itself, but that's pretty cool. And it's because Coby's such a good football player, just all around, can do it all. He's big and strong, really aware, leader on that team, on a championship club, and a really good playmaker. The other kid, now this is something now. Woolen he's got unbelievable talent. That he's been a DB for a couple of years, was converted from a receiver spot. There's probably never been a guy that's as tall as this guy, is as fast as this guy that's ever run. I don't know, maybe there has been, but to be over 6'4" and to run 4.2 somethings is a crazy numbers. But he's really learning the spot, and he's really growing. So I see they're different in their makeup, and one of the points of that is Woolen will be a guy that we'd really like to just get him on that line of scrimmage and see if he can own it, because he's got such style to him. So that's where we'll take him. So a little more versatility in Coby.
Yeah, Coby was really buttoned up too, as a pro, especially down at the Senior Bowl. He was, talking to Jim Nagy, who runs the Senior Bowl, just throughout the week, the way he handled himself, and then all the guys that went into the school, everything he got out of the coaching staff and everything, he was really, they called him the culture changer, and so yeah, really excited about him. And then like Pete said, Tariq's athletically just a total freak. Been playing there for 2 years now, and he's awesome.
What made Coby so good on the ball?
He has incredible awareness and instincts. He sees the ball real well.
Yeah, real instinctive and natural football player.
You guys have experience, obviously, with Richard Sherman years ago coming in after converting from receiver to corner. How would you compare those two players development-wise, where Tariq is at right now compared to where Richard was coming in?
Yeah, Richard was, I had known him growing up, and come to school, and also I had a little special insights on that one, and was excited to see him as he went to defense, how physical he was, and he really carried that through. Richard didn't run like Tariq runs, and so it's a little bit different in the dynamics of the player. And I don't know enough about Tariq now to see all of the instincts that was so special to Richard, But what we do know is those are guys that because of their stature, they present problems for a receiver, and it's because they're so long and so wide and fill up so much space and can run with them, and so there's some similarities. It was interesting that he knows all about Sherman, he knows about Browner and the guys we've had, Maxey. He's kind of followed it sounds like the Seahawks over the years, kind of like that. So he knows that this is a good place for him to come.
John, what's his quickness like, as opposed to, we know he can go fast?
It's really, yeah. You would think a guy like that would be real leggy, but he's not. He's very controlled, very balanced. He transitions real well. He's got some good power to him. He flies up in the run game. It's pretty cool. And then he's such a big guy. I mean, it's very impressive to see a guy like that, come flying up and run support as a former receiver, and we think he'll be a heck of a gunner as well.
Tyrese Smith giving you off the edge.
Oh wow,
yeah.
He jumps off the ball, really good hands. He can get skinny, he does some really nice stuff rushing inside and outside. And he's had a kind of a funky career there, going through he's the COVID year, and he's battled some injuries and stuff, but I think he's just scratching the surface. He had a great Senior Bowl week as well, and you can see him playing against some of the best prospects in the country, and he's a unique talent with his the way he jumps off the ball and his hand use.
Yeah, good. I was just going to say, he's really good motor about him. He's a good football player. You see him make a lot of different plays and all. Well schooled as a rusher, so you can see the technique stuff he's off to a good start with that.
Another basketball guy that show up.
Yep, former basketball player.
Yep, it always does.
Why did the wide receivers you chose show up on your radar?
We had great buy-in from our offensive staff with those guys. We had them in a spot on our board where it's like, okay, we think there's several guys here that could make it, and sure enough, Bo Melton is, first of all, he's an amazing kid. He can fly. He's 4.3. Shoot, I forget what he ran. I think he was like 4.36 or something like that at the combine, and change of direction. Captain of the team. I mean, he's just a great kid at Rutgers. They speak super highly of him there, and then Tariq is a guy that really showed up as a phenomenal tester in the spring, that brought you back to his the fall at Lenore-Rhine. So smaller school. And he's played in the wing tee, and then they moved to a spread, so you can see him actually coming downhill, blocking people, and he's a physical guy. But the workout that he had for the scouts in the spring was incredibly impressive. So, and he tested off the charts. He's a 6'2.5", 222-pound guy.
Yeah. Amazing student too. He's
an
he had
engineering
tremendous
major.
academic background.
He came in here and had a great visit. So.
Similar in style to David Moore, like smaller school guy, a little bit bigger receiver, has some pretty big athletic traits, some running back background. Is there some similarity?
Yeah, there's some similarities there, sure.
Yeah.
You talked last week about kind of an underdog feeling in the building. Yeah, does this draft remind you any of any of those early ones that you had?
Well, I would think early. Yeah, I don't mind saying that. I think it was like the first draft, in that we had the picks, in the first round. We haven't had that opportunity, and John hasn't been able to take advantage of that, because of our our seasons and all. But in that regard, it felt like we had a full draft that year, and also there's been a unique excitement about coming back in the building, and this was all part of it, So it's been pretty fun.
I mean, it's the first time that our owner's been able to come in the draft room and be with us. Jody she was a blast. She was into it, and so it was great to have her with everybody in the draft room.
She was
with
fired
us.
up. Yeah, she was
and just
ready to go.
we were talking last week about having everybody back in the building too. So the third floor being back in the building, and that's part of the excitement. And then the players coming back in, and we've been working our tails off right in the draft room for several months now, and the culmination of it, now it's a great question. It feels good. It feels good.
Having gotten through the draft and the bulk of free agency, how do you guys feel like where the roster is right now? Is there anything you feel like you really need to kind of get done between now and the start of training camp?
Well, we don't feel like it ever stops. So this is just one, avenue for us, right? So we'll continue around every corner. We're gonna keep taking a peek and see what's around the corner and see how we can improve this team.
Pretty good, pretty well balanced though in our choices. That we got some spots that we had kind of agreed upon. It would be nice to get some help, and so the roster feels in pretty good shape right now. We don't to answer your question about is there big holes. I don't feel like that at all. No, but we're just getting warmed up.
There's a lot of fourth, fifth year guys that you guys picked. A lot of these guys are 23 already. Was that something specific that you were looking for, guys with a little bit more experience, or is that just a result of the COVID years?
It's just the result of the class, right? There were so many guys that came back. I think you saw, I think we talked about the quantity and the depth, maybe more so than the big time difference makers, maybe at the top, the very, very top. So throughout all those guys coming back, I think you saw some older guys in there.
The quarterbacks, was it a matter of class Or do you just wanted to give Drew? You're going to give Drew Lock and Geno Smith a chance to win this, and you didn't need a quarterback right now.
It's hard. It's hard for rookies. It's
Yeah.
very hard on rookies to come in here and
Yeah.
you have to have unique qualities. We talked about it last night, right? So,
Sure.
Or the night before. Sorry, getting these
You've
confused.
been here a lot.
Yeah, but it just continuously throughout the draft, it just didn't fall the right way for one reason or another, and we've agreed to terms with somebody here as a rookie free agent that we're really excited about.
Is it easier for running backs then as opposed to quarterbacks? When you talk about kind of making that jump.
I missed the first.
I'm sorry. Is it easier to make it for running backs as opposed to quarterbacks in this league to make an immediate impact?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. It certainly is. It's
If
just
you can
such-
run the rock, you can run the rock, right?
Yeah.
But
It's pretty
play
instinctive.
quarterback.
That spot has always historically been one that guys can really contribute right away. In the quarterback thing, it's a monstrous amount of information for those guys to command, and it's really a challenge. You see so many guys struggle as they get going. It's rare that guys can be smooth through the first year or two. Running backs, they come out of the chutes. You hand them the football, they pretty much know what's going on. So, but anyway, I think it's quite a bit different.
Does it seem like, for me, maybe a lot of these guys knew as much about the Seahawks as you knew about them? Because a lot of them said they followed LOB, a couple of players. Any of the previous drafts?
Well, Pete told the crew, when we had our third visit, he told the crew, he's like, a lot of you guys were in grade school when we went to the Super Bowl. So, and again, these guys are growing up playing Madden football and, making trades for Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and guys on their video games. And, but I think that also agents do a really, really good job of prepping their guys before interviews and letting them know, where the good organizations are, the steady organizations, and we kind of pride ourselves on our communication with agents and the way they coach their prospects up.
I think it's a statement too about the guys that have come through here. They have made a name for themselves, and a lot of our guys have continued to be kind of visible, and it's a good thing. I was encouraged by it. Maybe I got sucked in a little bit, by a couple of our guys talking about us, but it's nice to know that.
You guys obviously added to the pass rush group, but how do you feel about the whole thing now with what you did there with like Uchenna and free agency and stuff like that, and what you guys we've got here?
Feel good. I think we feel good.
I feel like we've balanced it out, and we've attacked some needs, and the tackle spots were really, that was a big deal, and we really fortunate that worked out like that. Really fortunate, and got two really good guys to go for it, to upgrade the challenge and the competition at those spots. I don't know who's going to start, but I know those guys they're going to be challenged by the new guys coming in, which is great. And it feels like, as I was saying to John, we had some spots, and we didn't just get a guy. We got a couple guys that can help us, we think, and as we can continue to push to make it competitive, it makes us better, and that's what I think we feel coming out of there. We got that done.
Was there any more of
those guys? You're talking about, Jake got to play last year. Did a nice job coming in, and we haven't seen a ton of Stone yet, right? But you also have Trey Brown. We haven't seen a ton of him, and you haven't seen D. Eskridge yet. So there's a class there that's just missed out a little bit, right? Yeah. So to put those guys with this group, I think you're going to see some outstanding stuff.
Was there any more of a priority to attack needs in this draft at all? I mean, you guys have kind of maybe referred to that a couple times, or
we grade for our team, so we end up, trending towards needs to a certain extent, right? So, we're comparing guys to different positions all the way through. That's what I talk about when you're collaborating in a real concise manner with the coaching staff. You feel like you can put a really nice plan together, and if you can stick with it, it's great.
To piggyback off that, when people always talk about need versus best player, did this fall? When Pete talked about the tackles, did this fall pretty well? The guys that were up there on your board happened to be places you need the guys.
Yeah, I felt like it. Yep.
It's
Yep,
big class
I feel it did.
offensive linemen. This is as good a or deep a class. I don't know, John. You would know
Yeah,
better,
no,
but
this is a
it's
really
the deep
good
class
class.
we've had, and all the way through, there are still guys getting picked today that are formidable players. And there was a big number of rushers also in this, different styles and makeups and all of that. So we hit it and we doubled up on both those, and it was because of I think the depth in the draft. We're fortunate.
How are Tariq and Boye different types of edge guys, and will they start out at the same spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. Boye's got a little bit more of a linebacker in him, from his style of play and his I think his upbringing. And Tariq was more an edge rusher. And so in our system, they have to do both. And those guys will get a chance to, and we can maximize and minimize, whatever to fit their strengths. But they're a little bit different, and both played, in the same conference, a great level of play, really good comparisons we can make. But I think there's a little bit more of a lean towards the linebacker, a little bit more lean towards the rusher background for the two guys.
Was Jody, was she making recommendations?
She was calling the
awesome.
shots. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, she had some things she wanted us to get taken care of. And
She did.
and we got them taken care of.
She did. I know. Yeah. Again, I'd say this is another shot we had. She was great, and she
Yeah, it
had
was fun.
fun. She was in it. She was competing, and she wanted to know about who you may be trading for, and the whole thing. She was on it, so she's really amazing.
I did ask her if she wore her third day shirt today. That's these right here. She said she did. So
That's
she
it.
was watching on TV though.
Work day.
With just the one trade and addressing so many needs, and having a pick high in the first round, was it the most straightforward draft you've had?
Yeah, we didn't move around a lot. That's
Yeah.
that definitely. We thought we would. I definitely thought we'd move around more than we did.
It wasn't any
Things
different in
just
your
kinda-
attempts. You were trying the whole,
Yeah,
to
attempts
see
were
if
the
there was
same,
stuff
yeah.
there. We
But-
weren't shying away from it, but
It just, I don't know. Things kind of. It was
This
like
was-
God's
yeah.
plan, right? Like
Yeah,
things
we
just kind of kept
we had a good fit with
kind of
with
kept
our
happening the
opportunity.
way they should have.
Well, there didn't seem to be the outlier, the pick that we're all going, what was that for, or where did he come from?
What do you mean? What are you saying, Greg?
I don't mean, you know the stuff better than I do, of course. No, what I mean is, you had needs, you filled them, rather than sometimes you take players.
It fit, yeah. It did. That's the opportunities of the numbers where our positions were. It fit the choice, and so. But that didn't. My point so you guys know that John's staff, they were working. They were in on so many. I mean, you can't imagine how many different scenarios that came through. But none of them fit as well as the choice that we had, got to make. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's like speed dating. They're like, they think they're headed somewhere, and then they tell me about something that's happening, and we talk about
John,
it.
I don't know about speed.
We're,
What are you talking about?
well, I've only seen it in the movies, but but they would bring us. They would be fired up about a deal they had, and we'd sit there and kind of analyze them, and then all of a sudden they would just go away. So
You got out of it. Good.
John, you mentioned earlier kind of the depth and total numbers of this group. Does that now carry over into the undrafted stuff? Is there a pretty good crop of guys out there?
yeah. There's a lot. The numbers were super high. In this year's draft with the guys coming back and getting that extra year.
Pete, you guys start a different phase of the offseason program Monday, right? You kind of get on the field a little more.
Yeah.
Seeing Drew and all that in there, I mean, kind of I guess, what do you want to see out of him, or kind of the excitement level of seeing that?
Phase one, we're not on the field with the players. That's what they're with the strength and conditioning guys. Monday, that's the first time. Phase two begins, and now we're rolling. Phase one it's a different stage, but so it's. Yeah, in anticipation of it, we're fired up about it. And a week later, we're going to have the young guys in here too on the weekend, and we'll have a whole lot more information to go on. It's just time to kind of unwrap the presents and the packages and stuff, see what's in there. So we're looking forward to it.
You once tried to recruit LeBron James to be a Seahawk. What was it like drafting a guy by the name of Coby Bryant?
Yeah, well, I think the amazing thing is that he comes from Cincinnati. The last guy we drafted from Cincinnati was Mike Tyson.
He couldn't wait to say that.
Appreciate that.
He couldn't wait to say that. He was like, it's been all afternoon.
Appreciate it. Freaking softball. Yeah.
And he's going to wear number
I don't know,
8.
maybe he wears number 8. Who knows?
We spent so much time
No, he was. Yeah, he wants
You
him to
thought
wear
we were on
8,
a roll?
so.
We spent so much time talking about the primary positions, but can you tell how this draft class will affect special teams, or is it too early to kind of know who your key contributors could be there?
It's too early to totally tell, but the traits are what we look for. and the mentality. So all the way through, there was a competitive aspect, the makeup of the person. So it was an emphasis for everybody all the way through, whether it was the way the scouts felt about the player and the makeup of the player and the position coaches as well.
Yeah.
And obviously our
Yeah.
special
That's a-
teams guys, sit in all of our meetings. So
Inside linebacker was a position a lot of people had their eye on. Just, more Bobby. Where do you guys feel like things are at there?
Feel like we're in good shape. The way we're lining up, depth-wise, and as always, we'll keep working it. But I like the guys that we have, and I think we're in good shape there. We didn't need to go there.
Similar.
Jamal helps, a lot.
Yeah.
Also the depth, special
Iggy.
teams.
Iggy.
Similar topic there. How does Tanner Muse fit into that? Since he came in last year, he was backing up for you guys all throughout the year.
Yeah,
How does he
Tanner's
fit?
a heck of a special teams player, and finding his way and his fit as a linebacker.
Yeah, he's one of the core guys on special teams, but he is an inside guy that we're continuing to grow with. We think he's really got an upside.
Is Ben
Urban healthy now, or?
He's running. He ran for the first time on the field with our guys, which was an extraordinary accomplishment for the kid. He's been busting his tail and not letting anything get in his way of making this return, and it's been really challenging. But he's running, and it's a very inspirational and emotional deal for us to see him make it back, and it's been so important to him. It's just a statement about the kid. He's a great kid with a great love of the game, and really wants to prove himself and all of that. So we'll stay with him and monitor it all the way through. So we made a really good statement this week.
Yeah, you have to give him so much credit for the effort and everything he's been through. It's been really rough for him, and he's been working with CJ downstairs, and he just keeps attacking it. And so, sometimes during the season it's rough because, guys get injured and they go to injured reserve, and you keep going. We got to keep going, right? So, to see him coming in and working as much as he has to get to where he is right now with his rehab, man.
They
so much
just
respect.
cleared him last week for the first time, so that was a big statement in itself. And that's just totally on him for making that happen.
How's John Radigan doing? Obviously, he got hurt later in the season.
Yeah, he's making good progress. He's
Doing
with
well.
us. He's here with us and doing everything, and everything seems to be on point. There's been no setbacks.
Will Quandary and Jamal be back at any point soon? Or?
Yes, they will be. They're still featuring the rehab, trying to max that out before they get here. They'll be in short order. They're just a week or so away.
Metcalf out of his boot or doing
He is, and he has started his running as well. Like those two guys, he is in a total rehab mode right now, and needs to get through that and out of that. Jamal's probably the furthest along, as I understand it, but all the guys it's all working, and they need to get that focus nailed, before we get back to the full speed football. They're in on all of the meetings and all that kind of stuff.
You probably won't do mini camps.
No.
Pete, how do you feel about the group's overall potential to function at a high level around whoever wins your quarterback competition this summer?
Well, give me a chance to get these guys on the field and really see how they look throwing in comparison. But we do know a tremendous amount about all of our guys at this point. But it's still until you see them going head to head, and the comp is going from one throw to the next and one rep, one drill to the next. But we are very talented. And arm talent, the guy's ability to throw the football, that's not even a question. It's going to be system. It's going to be commanding the position to take care of our football team and with the right mentality and the right conscience. That's where we have to see how far we can come. We don't really have all of that nailed with Jake. He's been with us a short time, and we don't have that nailed with Drew at this point. We have a really good feel for where Gino is. But the way that we're going to format our football team is going to call for this position to really, really be on point, to run the club with the big mind that takes to have a great conscience about great winning football. And so we're not worried about the talent at all. It's the process and seeing them grasp onto all of that. I'm really excited to see. And this really is let the games begin. These guys are going to go at it. So it'll be great fun.
Regarding DK, with A.J. Brown getting traded and then getting paid, and Hollywood traded and presumably paid as well, are you guys comfortable waiting on a DK extension or on the price?
Who said it has to go that way?
Did
right?
Hollywood sign it?
I think they just picked
That
up
was 50. I think no
Yeah,
extension.
they got something going. Yeah. it's really important for us. We'll kick it into John's court, here in the weeks to come here after the draft and all.
Can we
But
get to the draft?
yeah, but we're really communicating great, and DK we've been on a great wavelength to move forward, and hopefully with this will all work out. And we don't plan on him going anywhere else. We want him to be with us.
What does it say about DK that he shows up not having a new contract coming off the injury?
I think I mentioned to you guys it was a great statement for our guys, and he's back in the rehab mode, but he wanted to show that this is his place, and he has a responsibility to it, and as we do also. And I thought it was a great start to the offseason.
Is Chris Carson back here for the program, or?
No, he's still at home. He's still rehabbing at home.
Pete, is it possible to judge decision-making at the quarterback position without games?
Fortunately, we don't have to. We'll the games as we're looking at it now. The games are going to be really important, and but we'll do everything. We'll take it as far as we can every step of the way, and then use the next opportunity. These camps now will be really important. We'll take the break, and we come back into camp in those first couple of weeks, see where everybody returns and how do they come back in command of the system and all that. We'll start to have a better feel for that. That we'll compete like crazy against each other, and then we'll get our games to go.
Pete, I like to say everything counts.
Everything counts.
Yeah. So, no,
Exactly.
You can look back at all the competitions that we've had since we've been here. I would say probably obviously the biggest one was 2012, and the coaches did an outstanding job with T-Jack, Matt, and Russ, and they formulated a great plan.
Yeah, we plan to orchestrate it, so that it shows us everything we can possibly get, and then sometimes you just gotta go play games. We might take it all the way to the season. I can't tell you.
And I'm talking about practice.
Yeah. You talking about practice?
I'm talking about practice.
You talking about practice?
Thank you, everybody.
Say what?